Okay. Well, anyways. Hi everybody. It's me. I know it's a little dark, so I try to get as much light as I could. So I have something that's been on my mind for really 30 years. I mean, and it's something that I never really talked about before because it was uncomfortable, and I'm learning that things that are important are the most difficult and the most uncomfortable to talk about. And I have come to realize that I need to stop putting a halt on this particular situation. And maybe it's because of all the racial issues that are going up, African American versus Caucasian, rich versus poor, all of that. Maybe that's what's giving me the strength to talk about this. So for those of you who know me, you know I'm mixed. And if you don't really know what that is, or you're confused about that and you're like, mixed with what? I am mixed with African American and white, or Caucasian. My mom is Caucasian and my dad is African American, right? So when you see me, I'm light-skinned. I got, I guess, what people would consider good hair, quote unquote, you know, and different attributes along those lines. So the other day at work, we sit in cubicles, and the girl that sits to my left or next to me was like, "Hey Ashley, you're mixed, right?" And I said, "Yeah, I am." And she was like, "Well, if you don't mind me asking, who's white and who's black?" And I told her, no problem. I was like, "Oh, well, my mom's white and my dad's black. However, my grandparents, my white grandparents, were the ones that, basically raised me, made me the woman who I am." Excuse me, I gotta put my seatbelt on because we're driving. Say hi, Peanut. Okay. So anyways, so she was like, so when I told her that my white grandparents were basically the ones that raised me, she did something that just kind of threw me off. She looked at me and she was like, I understand that makes a lot of sense now. And I just kind of looked at her. I was like, and I do that a lot. And I've noticed throughout my life that when people make comments like that, I laugh it off like it's a joke and like it's funny. But it's not funny. And it actually hurt my feelings because it felt like she was, and I'm sure she didn't mean that. And I'm sure she didn't mean it to come off that way. And if she did, I don't know. Because we just, carried on talking. But the whole point is that it was like she was insinuating that because I was raised by my white grandparents that there was something missing, or I see why you are the way you are. Like it was a problem, like it was an issue that I was raised by these Caucasian people. And in my opinion, I think I was raised great. I had a loving family, have a loving family, and yes, there's not a, it's not a secret that I am closer to my Caucasian side of my family than I am with the black side of my family. Like I talk to my dad, I talk to his mama, his grandma, or whatever. I know that I have family members out there as well, and my sisters and things of that nature or whatever. But it's just the point that I wasn't raised in an African American family 24/7, full time, if you will. It was more of a part-time deal. But so it started getting the wheels turning in my head, thinking about how I've always dealt with that. I've always had that type of issue with everybody that I've met. And it's like, It's like they split me down the middle, if that makes sense. I mean, if you're mixed and you're watching this, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just my personal feelings, or maybe it's all mixed people that feel this way. But it feels like I'm split down the middle. Like I have to choose who I'm going to be depending on the person that I'm around. Now, that doesn't mean that, you know, like when I'm at work, I'm professional. When I'm at home, I'm not. That I'm not saying it along those lines. What I'm saying is that when I'm around Black people or African American people, if I talk articulate or if I do something that is considered white, I'm acting white, and I need to stop acting white, you know. Or if I'm around white people and I'm using slang and I'm just kind of careless with what I'm saying, or I'm aggressively saying something, I'm acting ghetto, or I'm talking ghetto, or I'm acting like a thug, if you will. And it's crazy to me that why can't I just be acting like myself? Like, I talk proper sometimes I don't. And I don't think it's really one of those things where I personally don't feel like I'm acting you know, a particular way. Like I'm not acting more white than Black, and you know what I mean? So it's like it kind of hurts my feelings, and it makes me realize that I have been dealing with race and discrimination in a sense my entire life, and it needs to stop. Because it makes me feel uncomfortable. It makes me feel like I'm not enough for the people that I'm with. I'm not enough for family members or friends because I'm not acting how they feel like I should act. And my experiences, my trials, my tribulations, and everything I have been through have made me the person that I am today. I'm 30 years old, and so I'm coming to the realization right now in my life that I need to stop pleasing other people because of the idea of who they think I should be, because I'm just me. I'm just the person that I've grown to be. And I'm tired of feeling like I have to be a certain way around a certain race because I'm mixed, and that's not fair. Because you know what? When an African American person or a Black person is around their African American family and they're just being themselves, they're not acting any other way. But as soon as that African American person starts speaking articulately or starts speaking properly, or, you know, starts going to school or things like that, people say comments like, oh, you're acting like a white boy or a white girl or whatever. Or, you know, for white people, if, you know, you listen to rap music or you use slang or you say even yo or whatever, you're acting Black. And it just needs to stop. Because for those people that are mixed, number one, you got to think segregation just ended roughly around 50 or so years ago. So it's not like segregation has been, you know, it's been thousands or hundreds of years since this has been going on. And there are still obviously people, as you know, looking at the news, looking at what's been going on, police brutality, all of those things. Obviously, race is still a major issue. So for people that are mixed, in my opinion, and again, these aren't facts, these is just how I'm feeling, but for people that are mixed, it's like we're stuck in the middle of this battle, not knowing where to go. Because if we try to not necessarily side, but if we go with what we know, it's not good enough for that particular race. Or it's a problem that we're quote unquote siding with one race versus the other. What am I supposed to do? Deny that my grandparents are white and they raised me because I'm mixed or because I have Black in me or whatever? Like, that doesn't even make any sense. Like, I have to act, or I have to deny half of myself to please another person because they're not comfortable with the fact that I'm not fully one race or I'm not fully the other. And I'm tired of feeling like that. And honestly, if my friends and family are watching this video and they're looking at this and they're thinking to themselves, have I done that to Ashley? Have I acted in that manner? 9 out of 10, yes, probably. But because I didn't know what was going on, and because I thought it was normal to be treated that way, of course I didn't say anything, and of course I laughed it off, even if it was uncomfortable. So what I'm really saying is that if you know me, my race, me being a Caucasian and African American woman, has nothing to do with the person that I am. And I'm asking you nicely to please stop pretending, or please stop acting like that is all that matters when it comes to me as a person. And if that's all you see when you look at me, oh, she's mixed, she's black and white, oh my gosh, she was raised by white people, or whatever, then you don't need to be in my life, and you don't need to be a part of the things that I'm building and the person that I'm growing into, because I'm just myself. I'm not anyone other than that. So I guess all I'm really saying is that please be cautious, and, well, not cautious, but conscious of what you're saying to people. You may think it's funny, or you may think it's not a big deal, but it can be, and it can hurt people's feelings, and it can make people feel a certain way. And I guess just love one another. I don't know. Well, bye, I guess. I'm done talking about it, because I mean, I really don't know what to say. I was just venting because it just kind of threw me off, and it just made me realize that I've been dealing with this pretty much my whole life, and I just don't want to deal with it no more. So I'm not, and I'm going to step up as a mixed woman and learn to be comfortable in my own skin, period. So
I love your black and white suit.
Peanut's ridiculous. All right, guys, well, you have a good night, and I hope this brings some clarity to, I don't know, a mixed girl's life, I guess. Bye.